Hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. I hope everyone can see my screen. Last time we had a few issues, but I hope that won't be an issue today. My name is Nicolai Gosvig. I'm the pre-sales consultant here with Dynamicweb, and I'm going to take you guys through the webinar today, where the subject is content management and marketing. I have about 30 minutes for the webinar today, so it'll be a bit fast. I hope you can keep up. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat window somewhere in your control panel. And I'll try to go through them at the end of the session, as many as I can. Otherwise, feel free to reach out to me or just to Dynamicweb, and we'll help you as well as we can. But yeah, the subject of today is content management and marketing, and even how those two work together with Dynamicweb. I'll skip the company introduction. We'll be sending out some information after the webinar, where you'll get a PowerPoint with an introduction to Dynamicweb, who we are, what we do, and yeah, a bit more about our solution, because we are more than in content management and marketing. We also have e-commerce, PIM, and we even do integration in our solution. So you can get quite a bit with Dynamicweb. So yeah, if you're interested, take a look at that. We'll also be sending the recording of the webinar. But the subject I'll start with is content management. And for those who don't know what a CMS or content management system is, as the name suggests, it's a way to manage content on your website. Broadly speaking, it's a way of making it easier for you to manage the layout of your website and more easy for you to create and put content on your website without having to code anything. So if we take a look at the page you're seeing here, which is our demo site, this entire site was created in Dynamicweb in combination with our marketing, e-commerce, and PIM tools. And one of the genius things with a CMS system is that you don't need to code anything in order to create and manage your content. So when you look at a site like this one, where you have content with a bunch of text and images, and you even have e-commerce products, as you see here, where you can filter around. The genius thing here is that there's no coding involved in this on my end as I created this website. And you would get the same thing. You would have these tools in your hands and you would be able to create awesome looking websites without coding anything. All you need to do is just configure the layout and the content as you would on your website. And a lot of this involves setting rules like the fonts and colors and content sizes. How should the width be of your content and such things. And we'll dive a bit into that, and I'll show you how to do that on a site like this, created with Dynamicweb. But the general idea is that you get access to some tools that let you create a website without coding anything, and you basically configure the layout. And with Dynamicweb, you simply push products from the e-commerce part onto your products page, as you saw before. And you can even create promotions like this one, as you see here, with our marketing tool. And I'll show you a little bit more in depth of some of the tools that you have for creating promotions and even working with email marketing, as you also have in Dynamicweb. But we'll dive into that a bit later. For now, I think we'll skip past the demo site here and jump into the back end. And I'll show you a bit about how the CMS works. So this is the back end of Dynamicweb. I have access to the full solution here because I'm logged in as a system administrator. So in our solution, you have a home page, and then we have our content. The content area is where we manage our websites, because with Dynamicweb, you can of course have more websites than just the one you saw before. If you have 5 different websites, that could be a master page and 4 language translations. You can handle all of those in the same solution, as you see here. So you can have more websites and you can have even more e-commerce shops. If you're running a bunch of different brands, you can have websites for all of them stored in the same place. So it's easy to manage in your content area. Other than that, in your content area, you have your website structure here, which is a long list of the different pages and different utility items that add a sort of utility or a function on your website. And then on each page, your front page, for instance, you have different types of content on your page. And you can create more content from this area, or you can manage. It's drag and drop, so it's easy to manage. And you can, yeah, as I said, you can create more content on here. The content area is basically the area where you manage your website and you create more content. Other than the content area, we have access to files and users, and your e-commerce and PIM areas are here as well. And we have access to the marketing area, which we'll dive into a bit later. But as I said, this is the general area where you can create more content. We call them paragraphs. A paragraph is basically a piece of content that you create and is then shown somewhere on your website based on the rules that you set. If we dive into one type of content, that could be a carousel. The carousel is what you see here, where you can, it's a basic slider where you can see different images with different text and some links to other places in your shop. And the basic structure, again, it's fully configurable. So the width, you simply set it by clicking the different options that you have. You can add the content. Again, we call it a paragraph. So you have 3 different images stacked on top of each other. Again, fully, it's drag and drop, so it's easy to manage which image should come first. And you can add more by adding a paragraph. And yeah, and then you have more configurable options for your content, like how would I want the height of the content to be? What should the color look like? Do I want a background image? What should the spacing be? Should we have more white space in our website to make it look more slick? Or is it fine that all the content is close together? All of this is based on how you want to present your brand on your website. And you have the options right here ready for you to simply click. Yeah. Then you have some options in terms of you can add image filters, and yeah, you have a lot of different options for your content. And if we dive into one of these images, you'll see some more options. If you have a huge image, or you want to ensure that you have a certain part of the image in focus on mobiles, you can simply set the focus of the image by clicking around on it, and this will automatically change the focus of the image. And this makes sure that your images are always perfect for even the people who show up on mobile. And that's pretty neat nowadays, where over 50% show up on mobile, so make good use of that. Other than that, you have access to a basic text editor, where you can even import from Word. If you have content writers who are writing in Word, you can just import your text from Word, and you can add different links to your website. Again, fully configurable. You simply select where I want to link to, and then you have different button designs that you simply choose from. Other than that, again, we're back to the configurable layout, where you can select how many different paragraph or content things do I want on my site. So if we look here, for instance, where you have 2 different types of content next to each other, that would be half and half on the page. But you can configure how you want to structure the different items on your page based on what you want to be in focus and how much should there be. And again, you can configure the different positions and cropping and the settings of the content, so that if there's an image, how should it crop? Do we want it to fill the entire canvas, the image? If we have text on an image, where should it be positioned? Yeah, and you can even set the width of your content on devices for mobile. Yeah, so that's the basic idea of how we manage the specific content that we created on our website. If we want to edit other options, like how should the menu bar look? How should the width of the entire website look? What colors do we know we want to use very often? What are the fonts that we want to use? Then we go to our website editing area, where we can set all kinds of global rules, not just for the content, but also for our e-commerce shop. So how do we want the shopping cart to look when we hover over it? And how do we want to present facets and such? All of these are fully configurable in our website editing area. So if you look again, you simply click on the different layouts that you want. So these change the width of your site, and you can set brand colors. The idea here is that if you have 5 specific colors in your that you want to use a lot on your website, maybe white and black, you simply select those, and you won't have to select the specific color, the hex code that you want to use for every content that you make. It will simply be a basic option that you simply click or is pre-selected for you because you've set it here in your brand color area. And you can set your logo, and yeah, you can change the width of your top layout, your menu header. Yeah, we could go through all of the configurable options that you see, but the basic idea is that all of the content on your website is fully configurable. So going through all of these things would probably take the next 2 hours, but I hope you get the idea that pretty much every thing on the website that you can imagine you would want to change or set to a certain size or a different color or any of those things you can configure within the website editing or even on the content itself. And I often get the question, what if I'm not happy with the configurable option that you've provided here? I want to have a menu that looks different than the ones you provide access to here. I'm not happy with these options. Well, we can work with that. We can even create new configurable options that you, again, simply click right here. So if you want to expand a little bit on the functionalities or the configurable options that you see here in the editing area, we can expand on those and give you new options to choose from. Yeah, so that's a bit about the content. We even go further and let you edit your product list and your product pages. So when you have a product list, as you see here, with a bunch of different products, the filtering, and you can select how do we want to show the products. You can even set default showing options or choose to remove some of the options. You can also edit how these are shown. So if you dive into a product list here, you can choose between the different views of the product, and you can edit each one to fit a different type of column grid, for instance. You can change how should the facets be, how many facet groups should we have, the ones that you see here. And you can even go into the product page, and you can then go and edit how should the product be presented on the product page itself, meaning how should the images be shown, how big should the description be. Do we want to focus on the variants? Do we want to remove some of these categories of equipment information that we have imported from our PIM system in here onto the product? Maybe we want to remove the videos because they're not very neat, or we want to put related products in the top. All of these things can be set in here, where you simply configure the structure of the different types of information on your product. Again, fully configurable, so you don't have to code any of it. You simply click and choose from the different layout options or add your own, working with either your partner or with Dynamicweb. All right. So that's been the general introduction to our CMS and the configurable options that you have working with Dynamicweb. But obviously, a CMS is simply for creating content. And with Dynamicweb, maybe you've heard about it or read about it, but we have what we call the all-in-one solution. So you get content, e-commerce, PIM, and marketing in the same solution, which makes it possible for us to combine our CMS with things like marketing. It makes us able to push products from our PIM onto our e-commerce that are then presented on our page, as you see here. All of this information is pushed from our PIM system and then presented here on the page that you see. So that's why we've sort of combined the topic today, CMS, with our marketing. Because when you have all of these things in the same solution, we're also able to collect quite a bit of data on the users that are visiting our shop. Everything from how many visitors do we have in general, to what products do they look at, what products do they click, what products do they buy. Oftentimes it would take a integration to, for instance, analytics or a different statistics solution that would provide you with that type of information. But with Dynamicweb, you have a lot of that information already stored in the system because they're using our own CMS, so we can track all of that data. And the way we collect this information and use it is with what we call smart searches. And the smart searches remind you a little bit about what you're able to do with when you combine analytics and tag manager. So we can look at different events going on our website and take that information and use it to create some remarketing things. So if you go into our user base, where we have our different users, we have what we call smart searches. So you see we have different user groups like customers and employees and newsletter recipients. We can expand on these, and we can use the information on these users as well as anonymous users in our smart searches. So in our smart searches, we're able to set up different rules based on different events happening on our website. So if we look at the different rules that we have available out of the box, you can see we have quite a bit to choose from. So even you can take user information, you can take their behavior on your website. You can even go as far as looking at the behavior that they have in our email marketing campaign. Because as you'll see in a little bit, you can even create email marketing campaigns and emails themselves within Dynamicweb with the marketing tools that you have available. So you can take all of these different events going on your content and reuse that for remarketing. And the idea here is that if you have, for instance, you can upsell with this information. So let's say a user added a product to his favorite list. You can use this information to say, okay, whenever this product goes on sale, we'll want to send an alert by either email or showing it on the front page for this specific user that, hey, your product is now on sale. So it's as simple as selecting the rule and then creating a personalization rule around this within the system. So when you have a rule like this, I've even set it up beforehand. So we have a rule here that says the demo user had, we have a smart search here where the demo user has added a multi-lens, which is a sort of, it's a goggle to his favorite list. And you find the goggle in here. It's a sort of eyewear. He's added this product to his favorite list. And whenever we've set a rule that says whenever this product goes on sale, we want to show this on the front page. So the normal front page looks like this. But if you log in with the demo user, we've created some content here on our front page, as you see here, which is a promotion product that then shows his specific product on top of his content. And now this is just one example of what you would be able to do with your content, creating this dynamic content that changes based on different rule sets we've set up in the back end based on their behavior and some rules that we set up. So because his favorites list glasses were on sale, we've set a little warning here, yo, your product is on sale, you should go check it out. And we've even added a few other products like a really expensive bike and a shirt, but oftentimes people see, oh, I wanted to buy this product, but it was too expensive. Now it's 30% off. Maybe I'll want to purchase it. So you have a lot of opportunities for upselling to different users with this type of information. And it gives you, it gives you a lot of different powers for creating a few more sales or creating content that is a bit more relevant for different users. Another idea would be if someone viewed a specific product, well, we can set up a rule based on a specific product that they viewed in our e-commerce shop, because you have access to your e-commerce right here. It's in the same solution. So you simply go and find the specific product that they viewed. And based on this rule that says if they viewed this specific product from our e-commerce, we'll set up a rule that then puts it on sale. Let's say they viewed it 4 times. We'll set up a rule that puts it on sale for 10%. Maybe then they'll purchase the product. So you have a lot of different options here they can choose from. And of course, you can even combine the informations. So let's say anyone who viewed a product and they're in a specific state or region, then we'll put it on sale. And all of the rules have to apply. So then we'll put it on sale. So you can combine and create a lot of different smart search rules that let you create this sort of dynamic content on your website which you can also combine with the email marketing. And this gives you so many different options for upselling and creating this dynamic and relevant content that's, that will make it a lot more fun for visitors to come and visit your website. And of course, there's no limit to how many smart searches you can create, and you can even combine them so that some rules should apply before others. All right. So the way we set up this this smart search rule that you see here was fairly simple as well. Setting it up is quite easy on your content. So if we jump back into our back end, you see we have the content here in the top of our list. And again, you can drag and drop it. But once you've created the rule in your smart search and added it as a personalization within your marketing area, you simply go to your marketing rule and click personalize. So in here, you have different rules for personalizing your content. And again, you can hide it or show it based on different rules. And yeah, you can select whether or not it should be the rules should apply to the content. So it's even easy to apply it to the different types of content. And you can put it on specific products, or you can put it on pages as well. All right. And the last thing I would like to show you before time is up is our email marketing tool that we have within Dynamicweb as well. Because a lot of people look towards Dynamicweb because they want to reduce the amount of integrations they have, and because they get all of these things in the same solution. So why shouldn't you be able to have some email marketing as well? And the gist of the email marketing is that you create the emails within your content system as well, so that makes it even easier. So once you've set up a campaign here, it could be, for instance, a banded cart campaign, or it could be a Black Friday campaign, because again, we have all the statistics from our content in the system to use. So you can set up an email marketing campaign that says, if we have the email on a user who had a product in our cart and left without buying, we'll send him an email reminder that, hey, you forgot to check out. And all of this, the specific emails are created in our content area. So if you have a folder for newsletters, for instance, you have an email here for anyone who abandoned the cart, or you have an example mail here. I'll show you this one. And the gist of content like this one, or the emails, is that you create it in the same way that you create your website content. You probably see it here. So if you look at a front page here, it's the exact same structure on your website content as in your emails. So you basically create different types of configurable layout that you stack on top of each other. And in that way, you get an email such as this one, where you can configure how should the logo be, how big should it be, how do we want to present different content, how do we want to link within the email, do we want to add an event, for instance, or do we want to add a voucher to our email? And again, you can combine this with the different smart search options that we have within Dynamicweb. So if you have a user who purchased a product and you want to give them a voucher to come back, you simply set up a smart search rule that says, if the user just purchased a product, let's send him an email with a voucher so he'll come back and purchase even more. And all of that is configurable within the solution. And if you go back to our email marketing campaigns, you can even set up automation campaigns. And again, these are based on the smart searches. So if you have a rule that says on a specific email, that could be your preliminary Black Friday email, every person who received the email but didn't open it will send that person a reminder email. But for every person who opened the email and maybe clicked the link within it, we'll send those people a voucher, so that we'll make sure that they'll come back to our website and maybe even make a purchase. So this way we can use the different events that are taking place within the content of our solution to upsell and create more engaging content for our users. And you don't need to integrate to a bunch of different solutions to do so. You have it all here within Dynamicweb. And that's what really sets us aside from so many other solutions where you would need to integrate to so many different things to get those types of information and to use them. you really don't need to know a lot in order to use these tools within Dynamic Web, as opposed to so many other solutions out there. All right, so that has been the very brief and quick deep dive into Dynamic Web content management and marketing. If there are any questions, I'll take a look here in the chat. See if we have any questions. I don't see any questions. Feel free to put in a question here in the chat if you're wondering about anything. If not, you are most welcome to reach out to me or to Dynamic Web if you want to know a little bit more about what we do, or maybe you want to see a bit more in depth what these different solutions are capable of, or maybe you want to see the entire solution in one go, and we'll figure that out. But unless there's any more questions, we'll stop the webinar here, and then I wish everyone a pleasant rest of their Thursday. And I hope you learned a little bit from the webinar. But yeah, thank you for hanging out, and we'll be sending out some information, PowerPoint introduction to Dynamic Web, and a recording of the webinar today if you want to take a look again. But yeah, I don't see any questions, so I hope you all learned a lot, and I wish you all a really good Thursday. All right, bye-bye.